Have you ever looked at a phone that costs over $1,000 and thought, wait,
Is this really worth it?
in 2025, that question is more relevant than ever. Flagship phones are still packed with the latest tech, but mid-range and budget phones have gotten so good, it's getting harder to justify spending all that extra money. Let's start with the basics. Flagship phones like the newest iPhone Pro models, the Samsung S25 Ultra or the Pixel 9 Pro, have the best processors, the biggest and brightest screens, advanced cameras, and long software support. They also come with high-end materials like metal and glass, water resistance, and features like wireless charging and ultra-fast performance. But the price? You're usually looking at around $1,000 or more. Now let's talk about mid-range phones, like the Pixel 9a, the Samsung A56, or the iPhone 16e. These cost between $300 and $600 depending on where you live. They don't have every feature a flagship does, but in 2025 they come really close. You get smooth displays, fast processors, solid cameras, and even long software updates on some models. In day-to-day use, they're fast enough for just about everything: social media, messaging, video, even some gaming. When it comes to performance, flagships are definitely faster on paper. They use the latest processors from Apple, Qualcomm, and other chip makers. That means they're great for things like 3D gaming, video editing, and all the newest artificial intelligence features. But here's the thing, for most people, a good mid-range phone feels just as fast for everyday stuff. Opening apps, scrolling through Instagram, or watching videos feels smooth on both. Now let's talk about cameras. Flagship phones have crazy good camera systems with big sensors, multiple lenses, zoom features, and better low-light performance. If you want the absolute best camera for travel or photography, flagships win. But mid-range phones have gotten way better. A phone like the Pixel 9a takes amazing photos thanks to smart software, even if it doesn't have fancy zoom. And even Apple's cheaper iPhones now come with advanced sensors that take sharp, detailed pictures. When it comes to design and build quality, flagships still feel the most premium. They use glass, metal, and have water resistance. Some even fold. Mid-range phones sometimes use plastic or lighter materials, but they can still look and feel great in the hand. Most people probably wouldn't even notice the difference unless they were holding both phones side by side. Battery life is actually pretty close these days. In fact, some mid-range phones have bigger batteries and better efficiency. Fast charging is now common too, even on budget models. Wireless charging is more of a flagship feature, but it's not a deal breaker for most. One area where flagships used to dominate was software support. But now, that's changing. Apple still gives 5 or more years of updates even for their cheaper iPhones. Google promises 7 years on the Pixel 9 Pro. Samsung gives up to 6 years of updates on some of their new mid-range phones. So if you want a phone that lasts, you don't need to buy the most expensive model anymore. Now let's talk about value. Flagship phones cost a lot. The iPhone Pro and the latest Samsung Ultra both start above $1,000, but many mid-range phones cost half that or even less. For example, the Galaxy A56 gives you about 75% of the high-end experience for about half the price. The Pixel 9a and iPhone 16e have great cameras, fast chips, and years of updates, all for under $600. Globally, this matters a lot. In countries across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, mid-range phones are the most popular because people want great phones without spending a fortune. Brands like Xiaomi, Samsung, and OnePlus are winning in those markets by offering premium features at mid-range prices. So are flagship phones still worth it in 2025? Well, they're still the best if you want the fastest performance, the sharpest cameras, and the newest tech. But for most people, a good mid-range phone now gives you almost everything you need and saves you a ton of money. So what do you think? Would you spend over $1,000 for the latest flagship, or are you going mid-range and saving big? Let me know in the comments.